kind of quote that I like to have over the guys are outnumbered by the women. Very good. I like it. All right, Magdalene, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, just let me quickly share my screen. Is my screen visible? Are the numbers readable, or should I just zoom it a bit?
Yeah. If you make it slightly bigger, would be great.
Yeah, I can do that. Is this better?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I could start with an overview of what your numbers look like, and then maybe we can look at the booked work in case you guys have any question or something to raise. So just looking at the overall numbers for Seal, we have 5.2 million as your current booked and verbal number, plus the confirmed March YTD IP numbers, with the split of 4.4 to SENEM and remaining 0.8 million from LATAM. We have 5 million, which is the current booked plus verbal, plus considering the 650K of total IP, and reducing it by the risk allowance number of 543K. For the BU outlook, based on what you guys shared with us in our BU call in this April, it is 5.7 million with 4.8 from SCNEM and 950 from LATAM. And your overall BU pipeline view stands at 5.5 million, which is again based on your total booked work, your total pipeline, and the total IP number, and reducing the risk allowance from that. So that stands at 5.5 million. Now, do you guys want to adjust anything to your BU outlook? Is that optimistic?
Sorry.
Do you have any buffer? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Just a refresh on what they mean.
Okay.
So current book and value, then confirmed, clear. What's the difference between the other three views?
So this is just taking into account the confirmed IP number. This does not have the full year IP number.
Okay.
This one has the full year IP number, and then we are also subtracting the risk allowance from that. So it's basically current book plus verbal plus the full year IP, and reducing the risk allowance.
Egna, sorry to
What's the
interrupt
risk-
you there. The IP that you're including in there, how much is it?
So for full year it stands at 650K, and then for confirmed it's 241. But again, this is not updated to May YTD. I'm still to receive those numbers from Sergey, so it is still March YTD. And this BU outlook number is something that you guys share with us based on what your perspective is of the BU, which includes benchmark plus IP. So this is like the overall number that you think what you would stand at by the end of the year.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and this pipeline view is just like...
Now, maybe
Yeah.
a question for us, which I think is also where Julia's question was stemming for. I think BU outlook for us, we basically set it at the budget level, and then we didn't touch it, no? So the question for you is, what's helpful to you? Is helpful if we keep changing it, or do you want to keep it fixed as the budget that we set?
This needs to reflect your best guess on what's going to happen this year. So this is all the various inputs, the pipeline and the booked and verbals and everything. But if you have to put a number against it, what do you think it's going to be?
So it's the pipeline, no?
No, the pipeline is just the probability adjusted from all the probabilities and amounts and everything. But now there's still kind of an additional judgment around that, saying that what do you think is actually going to convert, and what do you kind of put your reputation on the line for?
And your pipeline would not have the IP numbers, the one that you're maintaining. So this BU outlook would also include that. So this
Okay, that includes IP. Okay, because otherwise I was saying it's weird that the outlook is higher than the pipeline. Okay.
Yeah. So we can change that.
I think maybe, to be honest, Magna and Stuart, I think the biggest element of uncertainty at this stage. So, Julia Rossi, I don't know if you have a view on this, in terms of the portion of the pipeline there is still to play for, no? Because in terms of the view outlook, there are three things going for it. One is a risk allowance, and I'm hoping that risk allowance for us will be very minimal. So I hope at the stage where we are getting the right processes in place to make sure that no contract disappears and to make sure that we deliver on time for the November deadline, which means that almost the entire 500,000 can go to zero, hopefully. Then there is the other big number on this page is the 400,000 that IP is telling you they will deliver. Because the delta between 650 and 241 is about 400,000, and that is the one where I hope they can do, but that's where we need Sergey input a little, unless you've already got it. And then there is a third chunk, which is what's genuinely in our BU pipeline as not booked and verbal yet, but playing for it. And for that one, Giulia Rossi, I don't know if you have a view on what the credible number would be, or if you can kind of drill down and tell me what constitutes the number, how much of it is from LATAM, how much is from Iberia, how much is from Med, which can help us get a guess, let's say.
Yeah. So we're looking at new and renewal pipeline, right? So H2.
This is the number that we will pull from your pipeline. So in case if this is helpful, we have the split of H1,
so it would be
H2.
429, except the verbals in a way. So it's 131 plus 258.
Plus 40. So it's verbal plus renewal plus new. That's your total pipeline here.
LATAM feels a little bit... it's not much, but let's say that in LATAM we can probably get 50. I think, Giulia, you were looking at it. The 131 and 258. Do you? Both the Giulias. Do you know what's behind it?
131. So I can tell you for my markets, because I looked at the data. I was like, what is that? So there are two big things for me. It's around 200 something, but the biggest one is the Banco work on like the XIP exercise, basically, because that's a big piece and it's a 50% for now. So it counts for 50K, a bit more.
The portal, the microclusters?
Exactly, the microclusters. And then there were two things that were almost confirmed. I just spoke with Pesce from Unicredit because it was DNM and corporate for them, and then some minor things. Corporate, they confirm they will have budget after summer. DNM, they just told me they won't be able to do it this year because they don't have budget. So there's 30K that goes away, but it's just 30K. The rest are smaller things, and one of those will happen. So for my markets, I can tell you one is DNA, one is corporate UCI, and it will happen. One is Banco microclusters, and it's a 50%, and 30K will go away for UCI DNM.
UCI DNM was in verbal previously?
It was 90% verbal, yeah.
It was in the verbal. So we need to take 30 away from a drop-off risk allowance, and then the corporate, it will be how much? Remind me, it was 50, 60?
It was 42K plus VAT euro, so it's a 90% here as well. But the corporate will happen. The corporate is fine.
No, I'm trying to understand if you take DNM away and add the corporate back in, it's like net it's zero, or do we have an uplift?
No, but corporate is already there. Like they're all there already. We just need to remove DNM.
I know. I think the question I'm asking is, the question I think Stuart and the Magna are asking is how much of the 258 we believe we are almost certain that we will land. And from what you're saying is kind of zero in your world.
Corporate is sure, and it's 40K. 40 something. In dollars, it would be 50K.
So 40K plus 40K minus 30 on DNM, so net is plus 10, no?
No, I don't understand what you're doing. It's just two. It's one corporate and one DNM. and they're
Is
both there.
counted in verbal or is counted in renewal at the moment?
They should both be in verbal. Or
Then I think it's
otherwise
already
they're
in
both in
here. So,
renewal.
I mean-
I don't know. I mean, they were both
Magna,
verbal.
maybe
So
what we can do is I'm going to look at, I don't know if you have the line by line, we can look at it because I think there is a bit of,
You mean your
No.
pipeline?
Let's not do the line by line right now, guys.
Fair
Maybe
enough.
if you feel that this is not reflecting your BU shape anymore, please have another look at the online pipeline file.
We'll do.
no,
And if
No,
you're,
look,
if
let's
you're
take
making
it offline. Let's take it offline and then we'll let you know. But what I'm thinking at the moment is that I think the IP, I don't know how we handle that, but because basically, the way we're looking at it, and I'll say it also for our benefit, Julia, is that whatever is verbal is already included in this 5.2 million, so we shouldn't double count it, right? We're assuming that whatever it was booked is 5.2. Then there is a question of we have an allowance of over 500,000, which we hope will go to zero, but it's not going to be exactly zero, no? So, for example, UniCredit DNM, if it was counted in verbal, it will have to kind of come out of this 543, no? But let's say that at least 400,000 of this we can save, because I don't think we will have many drop-offs, above and beyond what you are describing. So, this would be 400 uplift, which means 5.2, let's say 5.1 plus 400, we should get, without selling anything more, BU outlook would be already 5.5, right? Which is kind of higher or more in line with the pipeline view. Then there is other two questions, which is, if you ignore LATAM for a minute, what do we have in here? And not only for your BU, no? So for your, geographies, but also for Iberia and the rest. We got like 400,000 to play for, which are not verbal yet, which is what I was trying to understand with Julia Rossi, Double Drill, what's in there.
Yeah, I can tell you what's in there for me. For me, it's mainly the microclustering for Banco, and the rest is very minor.
Perfect. And that microcluster, it's a little bit speculative, so we should go for it. But, if we, to play it safe, I would say let's kind of assume it's not happening, because I suspect that even if it does happen, it might be carrying an element of risk, let's say, no? So then the rest of the 429, because microcluster, it was, I think, around
50K.
50
It was
markets,
100K at 50%.
So the 380 left, it's all Iberia, Julia?
Yes, there is DNM Spain Santander for 30K, and then DNM Spain still other 27 and 27, so other 60. Status new, these two. And then, yes, I think these are the...
There's some stuff of very minor on Greece, because I'm planning to sell it for Q4. But it should weight very, very little.
On the discussion you had with Jose, Julia Rossi, do you know how much of the 380 he feels super comfortable about in Iberia?
I need to check with him again.
Send him an email, because
Yes.
I don't think he's connected, but send him an email with me in CC, saying that basically we just had this call and he couldn't connect, and if he tells us, remind him of what's in the renewal and new, and ask him two questions. One is if there is any drop-offs that he's expecting on what's booked and verbal. So if he expects to use any of the risk allowance in a way. And second question, which part of the 380 that are currently in the pipeline he feels very comfortable that is kind of very close to being closed. Because I think for the purpose of the BU outlook, we should play it safe. We should be conservative, I would rather say. And, obviously we are a few weeks away from the start of the H2 pipeline, so we should be able to call it with a certain degree of certainty. Everything else that is more speculative, I would say excluded from our outlook, which it doesn't mean that we don't pursue it. We pursue it, but that's, let's say, uplift more than anything else. So at the and then once we have that info, Julia, we can get back to Magna and Stuart with the question on build outlook. What do we think it is? But for now, Magna, eyeballing it, I think I don't think Jose is, probably have a few of those to be completed. So I think probably the 5.6, 5.5 to 5.6 seems reasonable. I think the big question is more around IP. So hopefully we can beat that number as well from IP.
Yeah, but maybe if we stay on the lower side of the spectrum, Simone, we put it to 5.5 for now to be a bit conservative, and we'll keep a bit of up our sleeves.
Oh, we could.
What do you think?
We could. But no, we could. We'll get back to you, and I'm all up for being conservative. But I think the question is more around really, the IP number, no? Because it's a big number that one in IP, and
everybody deals with that, so there's always a bit of noise there. But again, if you feel that Sega's forecast is not realistic, then push back to that. For now, let's put it at 5.5.
Okay.
Unless the team comes back with a different number in the next day or so.
Okay. And
the good thing about IP. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just asking, what do you want the split of LATAM and SE and EM to look like for the 5.5?
We'll get back to you, Magna. But I think let's say LATAM is gonna be more around the 800 mark.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the balance for APAC.
Yeah.
So the balance for SE.
Yeah, so that's 4.7 and 8.
Yeah. Super. I think that's all that I wanted to check.
This is very conservative if IP pulls their weight, no? So I don't know, who's talking to IP, Stuart? It's us, or because at the moment the way we do it falls a little bit in the cracks, no? So I don't know if you are kind of pressure testing IP centrally, or if it's helpful that we do it more locally. What's your advice?
So Sega sends his forecast to us. But that assumes that you've kind of triangulated with him already. So if you feel that the number's not coming through correctly, then just check with him or whoever's your IP catalyst.
Okay. Then I think I would say Giulia Rossi, if you can add 2 more action points, no? So one is to Jose Vargas to ask him question 1, what's the allowance on risk that he anticipates he will be using? Hopefully it's 0. Question 2 is, of the stuff that is currently renewal and new in his pipeline, which one is really within reach in the sense that it will be contract closed in the next 2 weeks with very, very high probability. Mm-hmm. Everything else, we keep it in the pipeline, but let's say we don't bank on it. Then there is the same question needs to go to LATAM. Send it to Cristobal and I, and then I'll pick it up with him. My current view of LATAM is that the risk allowance should be 0. We should be able to deliver everything on time, revenue-wise, but also the extra sales. I don't think there is anything that is, really something we can count on. And I think then Giulia Corbone already, gave us her view for her word, in terms of, allowance is risk allowance is the DNM Unicredit contract that will be used, so it's about 30,000 coming out from the risk allowance. And in terms of new sales, I've only heard speculative things, what I would call speculative things, Giulia, which is more like Q4 and beyond,
Yep.
Or the micro-clustering, which for the purpose of our BU outlook, I will keep it out, not from the pipeline, but from the outlook.
Okay.
And then there is a third email, so one to Jose, one to Cristobal, Julia, and the third one to Sergey. And I think as a general point, you probably need to start including Sergey as one of the checks that you do in preparation for this call, no? So historically, you have been coordinating on the benchmarking side, but do that with IP as well. I'm saying Sergey because Nikita is off in paternity leave, but when he comes back, then we'll do it with him. And for Sergey, you need to check two things. You need to check if the 650 number he believes still in, which basically means another 400,000 to be done before year end. And the second thing you need to double check is what's included in the 239 and in the 400 to avoid any double counting. So, for example, BNL project that we did at the beginning of the year, is it included in the 239 for him or not? And I don't particularly care where it's included as long as we don't include it twice. This microclustering that Julia is talking about, is it included also in his pipeline or not, etc. No? So that we have clarity to understand is this 400,000 is really above and beyond, because that would be lovely if we could have that 400,000. You know, then the picture changes quite dramatically, no? Because if we are right in the 5.5, you know, we're basically looking at the end of the year, which is more like 5.9, right? Which would be, you know, way better picture than.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Simona. Thanks for the comprehensive wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stuart. I mean, if you don't need anything else from us, I think, you know, feel free to dial off, and then we'll take it from here with the team.
No, it's okay. I think we're done now, so I think we can all dial off. I think maybe for you internally, there's a few things in check, but I think for Magna and myself, we're good now.
Yeah.
But then I think, you know, we'll probably get back to you, Magna, with an updated forecast view outlook in the next couple of days. I don't know when you need to close it, because I think 5.5 now is quite low. And I don't want to aim too low.
We need to close on Friday. But then if there's any more back and forth, it would be good if you can send your input by Wednesday, end of the day.
Yeah.
So maybe then, Julia, let's prioritize IP, because the view outlook that I would feel comfortable with is more or less 5.4 plus IP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Thank
I'm
you, everybody.
updating Unicredit
All right.
right away, so Magna, you'll have the updated from me too.
Okay, just let me know when if you made any change to your pipeline after the call, and then the number
Will
outlook
do.
number, and then I will just take the final cut and update it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.